Today, I'd like to talk to you about when my parents tried to have me locked up in a psychiatric hospital, marking the beginning of one of the darkest and most desperate periods of my life. I report this testimony to bring comfort to all those people who are of the so-called weak categories, and who, in many situations, feel marginalized and sidelined by a society that considers them only as guinea pigs or patients to be locked up, censored, tortured. When I succumbed to the pressure from my mother, who urged me to spend a trial period in the clinic to see how I felt there, and if I had psychological benefits for my depression, I'd never imagined that she had made arrangements to make them keep me there as much as possible. It all started when, with my psychotherapist, I expressed the desire to resort to euthanasia to escape the pain of living caused by my illness. The doctor spoke to my mother and said that he did not allow this type of reasoning in a boy of my age, and that I should have been forced to take psychiatric drugs for a lifetime. Since I am against taking medicines that interfere with the natural reasoning ability of any compos mentis patient, I was invited to a friendly meeting with the head of the psychiatric department of the hospital in my city. Here I was threatened and forced to sign the authorization to imprisonment, with the promise that if I did not sign, sooner or later a team of nurses would come to the door of my room, authorized by my family, to take me away and use strength in case I didn't give in. My mother put pressure on me to sign, and so I was forced to stay in the ward, in a room of a public hospital with barred windows and other sick people who had wept, screamed, vomited, writhed in panic delusions for many hours a day. The first night I was given sleeping pills because I could not sleep, but the next day, since I could not wake up, I was told to get up and immediately go to our shared bedroom to proceed to the first shower of the day. I was afraid, and I could not speak, since I had never lived outside my room in those precarious conditions and without a minimum of privacy. The nurse on duty then threatened me by saying that if I had not obeyed him in all respects, he would have grabbed me by the neck and slammed my head against the wall until he smashed it. He also said that it was needless to ask for help, because there would be no one to help me, and I would never go out of that hospital again. Luckily, I managed to go back to bed pretending to be sick, but he had hidden a cell phone in my locker. Cell phones and computers could not be kept in the ward. And excuse me, I think it's in the ward. And I telephoned my parents. They would have preferred to give up and not get in the way, but when I threatened to call the police, they agreed to come to the hospital, even though my mother said she didn't care and was busy at the moment. However, in the evening, my parents talked to the head physician while I was intent on leaving and not to set foot in that place again. They persuaded me for the second time to stay, but only after I had requested the mandatory presence of my mother during the following days to avoid all the episodes of violence and threats for from the nurses. Thus began my 20 days of imprisonment in that psychiatric ward, during which my parents took turns as overseers to make sure that I agreed to undergo the head physician's drug treatment. Thank you. I'll talk to you next week for the second part of the video.